Good morning. I trust that everyone survived the storm. If you're watching this video, hopefully everyone watching this video did survive. No one perished and is watching this video. But in all seriousness, I hope that you guys are safe. Nothing was damaged. And of course, we'll be on with our quarantine. I jokingly said that the last thing we need is just a tornado to come through and blow corona all over the state. But here we are. So we wrapped up our series on Elijah last week. And so this week I wanted to start a new series with another one of my favorite characters in the Bible, and that's Nehemiah. So we'll start reading in the book of Nehemiah, and we're going to start in chapter 1, verse 1. And this is just going to be kind of some setup for the rest of the series. But the thing to note here is that the book of Nehemiah was written by Nehemiah. So often he'll say like me or I, and that you just have to know that is Nehemiah. Okay, so let's start in 1:1. The words of Nehemiah, the son of Hakaliah. Now it happened in the month of Chislev, in the 20th year, as I was in Susa, the citadel, that Hanani, one of my brothers, came with certain men from Judah. And I asked them concerning the Jews who escaped, who had survived the exile, and concerning Jerusalem. And they said to me, the remnant there, in the province who had survived the exile, is in great trouble and shame. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down, and its gates are destroyed by fire. So, important things to note here. This is about 450 BC. So this is after Israel has kind of had its collapse. And you can see here that the walls of Jerusalem have been destroyed and burned by fire. And the important thing to know is that it's not just that they were once destroyed, but that they are still in this state of disrepair. It shows that they were not just once defeated, but they're continually vulnerable and weak. And I think right now a lot of us find ourselves in this spot. We have been beaten down by maybe a storm or the virus or just staying at home, or maybe it's something else completely unrelated. But we've been beaten down by this thing in our lives, and we find that our walls have been torn down and burned. But not just that, that one defeat that was in the past continually leaves you vulnerable. You see, the story of Nehemiah in this book is the story of him rebuilding his walls. But we don't just need to protect the walls of our own person. We need to think about the walls of the church and the walls of in this case it was Israel, but for us it's what the Lord is doing in our lives. We need to make sure that we have built up strongholds for what the Lord is doing. We need to be ready for his work. That's taking care of ourselves, but that's also taking care of the things that he's entrusted to us. We need to be good stewards of our church and our talents and his people. So as we move forward through this book, we're going to see 6 things that we can really do to get things done for the Lord. After all, the book of Nehemiah is about getting something done. They're going to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem. But that doesn't just apply to building walls. These things that we're going to learn about, they apply to doing anything for the Lord, not just in 450 BC, but in doing anything to the Lord today. So, join me again tomorrow. We're going to start with point number 1, how to get stuff done for the Lord. See you then. The Lord be with you today.